Hi guys, before we get into the video, did you manage to check out the link for your pop-out poster? I received my poster and it's a must-have if you're an Arsenal fan, and it's available all around the world. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Welcome back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to look at 4 things spotted from Arsenal versus Olympiacos. Arsenal are through to the Europa League quarter-finals after a 3-2 aggregate win over Olympiacos at the Emirates Stadium. So the first thing on the list is mutual respect between Emile Rowe and Sokratis. During the opening 5 minutes of the match, Emile Rowe came into a good shooting position for Arsenal, and he saw his effort rebound off Sokratis and hit him in the face. Both players needed brief treatment from their physios on the sidelines, and there was a touching moment when the Greek defender went over to check if his old teammate was okay. Sokratis had a huge influence on the younger players at Arsenal during his time at the club, and the mutual respect between both of them was clear to see. The 31-year-old revealed in a recent interview that he is grateful to Arsenal for giving him the chance to play in the best league in the world, and the hugs all around from every Arsenal player at full time shows how much respect he commands. So the next thing on the list is David Luiz's tirade. David Luiz had a torrid night against Olympiacos and was given the runaround by Youssef El Arabi throughout much of the game. The former Chelsea defender was vocal in the opening minutes as Arsenal struggled to keep the ball in midfield, and he could be heard saying "Vamos" along with the Portuguese expletive, before appearing to tell Granit Xhaka to go more centrally. There have been reports suggesting that David Luiz could be offered a new contract, but his error-laden performance on Thursday night could have cost the Gunners if El Arabi put away an easier chance in the first half. With the likes of Dinos Mavropanos and William Saliba waiting in the wings, Mikel Arteta should think carefully over whether extending Luiz's contract by another year would be a smart decision. So the next thing on the list is Captain Martin Odegaard. Days after being appointed captain of his country, Martin Odegaard made a difference when he came on as a substitute in the second half of the game. His clever running and incisive passing is a regular feature of his game that the Arsenal fans have become accustomed to over the past few months. On 74 minutes, he could be heard urging his Arsenal teammates to keep it, an instruction which they managed to do towards the end of the game as Olympiacos ran out of firepower. Martin Odegaard's impact at the club has impressed everyone so far, and it wouldn't be a surprise to see Martin Odegaard's loan deal getting extended this summer in the summer transfer window. So the final thing on the list is a frustrated Hector Bellerin. One player who cut a frustrated figure throughout much of the match was Hector Bellerin. The Spanish right-back went on an amazing run 10 minutes before the break and beat 3 Olympiacos players. It was impressive to see, but Bellerin lamented that no other players had been in positions to help him. What am I meant to do there? There are no options, he could be heard saying whilst throwing his arms in the air. Lack of options didn't matter in the end as Arsenal progressed to the quarter-finals, although they will have to be in a much better performance if they're going to go any further in this Europa League competition. So these were 4 things spotted in Arsenal versus Olympiacos, And if you were to dig deeper and look carefully at these careful things, for instance, when it comes to Sokratis and Emile Smith-Rowe, you can clearly see that Sokratis had a huge influence on the Arsenal team. You can clearly see that the players were respecting him to a large extent. Even at the end of the game, I saw Sokratis and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang have a conversation where Sokratis was certain about one point, but Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang calmed him down, and we can clearly see there was some bad blood with the likes of Sokratis and Bernd Leno lifting the lid on the bad atmosphere at the club. And it turns out to be Sokratis, even though he has the respect that he deserves, he was someone adhering to that bad blood in the club. And then if you look at the next thing when it comes to David Luiz, I think David Luiz, this is a problem with David Luiz. He can have a good game, then he can have a horrendous game as well. And today he was horrendous. And sometimes when you look at David Luiz, I think he took it too easy this game. And I think hopefully it's a quick lesson for him, someone with that much experience, to make sure he plays much better in every game, put 100% in, because he was 50 or 40% today. And the problem is David Luiz could be offered a new contract, but for me, is it going to be a smart decision? With the likes of Mavropanos and William Saliba waiting, I think would David Luiz be given the opportunity? Why not make Pablo Mari the senior centre-back with the likes of Rob Holding? And does David Luiz really deserve a new contract? Moving to the next thing, Captain Martin Odegaard. Well, I think you're starting to see his dominance in the club, but I think it's going to be really difficult to get Martin Odegaard at this club because he's someone that's owned by Real Madrid. Maybe have some form of a clause where if you buy him £40 million, then do what our neighbours Tottenham did with Sergio Reguilon. Hopefully we can do something like that with Martin Odegaard to make this a permanent transfer. And hopefully the Gunners will be able to get the most out of Martin Odegaard. And hopefully there's a lot more to come from Martin Odegaard as well. And finally, with Hector Bellerin, I think he doesn't work on the right back with Nicolas Pepe. Them two don't have no chemistry, no cohesion. Both of them don't have the ability to adapt to each other. And it just looks like Hector Bellerin is on his own and Nicolas Pepe is on his own. And this is a chemistry which Mikel Arteta hasn't been able to implement. And with the likes of Hector Bellerin looking like he's going to leave, it's going to be a huge game moment for Mikel Arteta to make sure there's a solid right back in that position. And hopefully Mikel Arteta will be able to implement more players such as Gabriel Martinelli into the squad. There are other things to be spotted as well, but I thought these were the four most key things out of the game. And I think the likes of Gabriel Martinelli giving 10 minutes, he saw what he can do to that team. He gave a new dynamic. I think he's the one that gave the Olympiacos squad a little bit of fears because he gave them no time on the ball. And if Gabriel Martinelli wasn't there and didn't play that key performance, then Arsenal may have been knocked out of the competition. But luckily they nearly pretty much sorted the job in the first half with 3 away goals, and that was literally saving them time and time again. But the Gunners now move on to the next part of the Europa League. They now move on to the draw today, which will take place at noon, and hopefully the Gunners will have a good opponent. I'm thinking maybe a Villarreal, but we'll have to wait and see. But other than that, guys, remain blessed, stay tuned for the next video, and peace.